Oh, no. Hey, thank you for doing this. This is awesome of you to do this.
We've got Dan Caron on the line. Danny was the drummer in the band Oak, and I'm looking at your picture here with your mustache and your white tie on the cover of the album there.
Oh, yeah, those were the good days. I actually had hair then. Yeah, I joined the band in the fall of '76, which at the time all the preliminary talkings about signing with Mercury Records was floating around, and they were recruiting a drummer at the time, and it was an honor for me to be asked to join. It was really, really a big step for me, which led to my better days as a musician, obviously, being signed to Mercury Records and touring with Rick and the band Oak. It was awesome. He originated the band from, initially they were in Berlin, New Hampshire, which was Rick's hometown. And they eventually migrated to Portland, Maine. We spent 24/7, honest to God, preparing for the album at Rick's house. And we practiced almost every day. And if we didn't practice, we were in the office working on getting gigs, and then otherwise than that, we were out performing as well. It was, a lot of work. Rick was a driver, and obviously everybody knows he was the ultimate entertainer. And he would do anything to wow the audience. And back in those days, my God, the Loft was the in place to play. Along with, the Blend and Bill Chinook.
Yeah, the Loft in Portland.
Portland was really rocking. And we started doing theatrics, and I know Rick would do almost anything to just blow the audience away. I literally remember when Star Wars came out, we had this huge box that Rick put together, and he dressed up as Darth Vader and actually sat in that box a good hour and a half before we went on, just so we could shock the audience and pop out of it when we started playing.
I'm looking at some of our comments here on the WBLM Facebook page, and Sally writes, I confess I was an Oak groupie, mostly when they played in Brewer at the Show Ring.
Well, it's funny that she mentions the Show Ring, Brian, because another big fan of ours when we played the Show Ring in Brewer, Maine, was all Stephen King. And he would come down to see us play and sit up in the balcony. When we did the Good Day Show on Old Orchard Beach, when the album broke in '79, we did the show with Stephen King, ironically. So yeah, and we're actually mentioned in, I think, is it the Dead Zone or whatnot, when there's a prom and the place starts burning down, and I think he writes that Oak was the band playing at the prom in that book. I think it's the Dead Zone or something like that.
That is huge. I don't know. Like another Blimpsty here writes, Mike Blanchard writes, saw Oak at Thirsties when I was in high school. Local rock stars who left the stage between sets to mix with the crowd. I was just starstruck, and they were all so nice to us kids. Ah, see?
Well, that's what it's all about, man. Taking care of your fans and people that support you. And boy, back then, it was, the drinking age was 18, and you could fill a nightclub with hundreds of people and really support live music. And thank God we had some talented people. Back then, if you were any sort of a musician, you passed through Rick Pinette's chambers, so to speak. I kind of gave up my college education to go on tour and become a rock star, Brian.
Well, sounds like you got quite an education, even though.
Yeah, I think it worked out. I don't regret anything I did. It was all fun, and we toured the United States, opened with Bob Seger, Michael Stanley Band. Rick Pinette was he raised the bar for a lot of entertainers and the bands in Maine, and we all owe it to him for being such a great entertainer and driving the force back then. He will sadly be missed, I'm sure.
And we've got lots of folks remembering Rick Pinette today on the WBLM Facebook page. And I think what we want to do, Danny, is play a song here that I think BLM played this song more than we played King of the Hill. Now, King of the Hill was my first exposure to Oak. I discovered Oak when I was 13 years old, riding my 10-speed around the neighborhood in Augusta. I had my little Panasonic AM and FM radio, and I used to listen to Casey Kasem on Saturdays, and I heard Casey introduce this band from Maine called Oak with King of the Hill on American Top 40.
Yeah, that's all awesome. I think to this day we're still the only one and only band from Maine to have a top 40 hit. It's all pretty cool. We all got a record collection from Casey Kasem for the top 40 that week, and I still have it in my possession, which is, obviously a prized joy to have,
Really sweet.
Yeah, it is sweet.
The song that I remember BLM playing was a song called Draw the Line.
Oh, yeah, and that was one of my favorites as well, but that was co-written, and I'm sorry he's not on the line with us. I tried to get David Stone to call in, but that was a piece that David co-wrote with Rick, Draw the Line, yeah, and a lot of people think, about the drug days of the little white lines on the mirror, but I really, I really don't think it had anything to do with that. But we were a drug-free band, and so unusual for a hard rock band at that time.
Dude, thank you so much for calling in this afternoon.
Yeah, well, Brian, thank you so much for doing it. Thank BLM, and you're a good friend of mine, and I appreciate it. And I thank you for doing this. And I knew. There was a lot of people that were going to be listening. That my phone's been just buzzing since I posted on Facebook that we were going to be talking on your show. So,
well, it's certainly an honor to have you on this afternoon. Dan Caron, drummer of the band Oak, as we remember Rick Pinette, who passed away this past Sunday at the age of 63. Here's Draw the Line, the first of two from Oak on WBLM's 2 for Tuesday.